Here now is Jack Brewer, American First Policy Institute Center for Opportunity. Now he's the chairman. Jack, thanks for being here today because, you know, I look at you as a great man, a man who's a leader in his community. By the way, you're from Parkland. Your community went through a similar horrific shooting as well. But you reach out to young men, and that's why I wanted to bring you on. And I think you look at these shootings, Jack, and so many of them are young men. Something's going on in our culture. Something's happening in society that our kids are disconnected, especially our boys are disconnected and doing such horrific things as this. What's your take? What's going on with our boys?
First off, I was born and raised in Texas, Sean. I live in Florida now, so this one hit home for me. Deep respect there, and Texas is a spiritual place, and I think you bring up a great point. Right now, we are in a crisis situation with our men. Our men don't know how to identify with themselves. If you look at some of the pictures of this particular young man, he's dressing up as a woman, and you can tell the confusion that is there in his mind. And I think that comes from our society. I truly believe, and I see spiritually, that we embrace sin. And so when you embrace sin, you cannot be surprised or shocked when you see that sin steal, kill, and destroy. And that's what happens when you embrace these type of satanic belief systems in a culture. And that's what we are facing right now. The American society, the American culture right now is conflicted. And you're seeing that in the boys and the things that we're indoctrinating in our children in our schools, in the society that we've created. It's one that wants to jump and react to situations like this, but it's not willing to really go and dig deep into the root cause of these issues. And so much of this comes from fatherlessness. So much of this comes from ripping out God and spirituality and prayer from our schools. And so some of our kids don't have a fear of God. And so when you raise a child that's confused, that doesn't have a fear of God, they are willing to do things like this. And so it's unthinkable for the majority of Americans. But for some kids that are raised in this system, in this society that we've allowed to manifest, it is the reality. And the Bible and the Word of God tells us about these times where brother will kill brother and kids will kill their parents, and these times will come. And so it's already written. But the real question is, what are we going to do with it? Are we going to fight this spiritual battle in the spirit, or are we going to continue to try to fight it with flesh and blood, with throwing policy conflicts at each other that really won't get to the root cause?
Jack, you know, we're not doing a Bible study here between the two of us. We can do that at a later time. But I think you bring up a really good point. You take God out of schools and culture, you take out morals and values, and you replace it with something else. And that something else seems to have brought us things that are not very great. Again, young men that are not rooted in moral value, faith. They're doing things that, again, are so destructive. Can we cure this by bringing God back into culture?
I think we can. You've seen it before. You've seen revivals happen all over the world. And I think particularly in our public schools, where so many parents now are working 2 or 3 jobs. So many parents don't have the time to spend spiritually building their children. They should have the option in public schools, if they choose, to be able to have that offered to their kids. I think they're pushing in, whether it's all of these, sexual classes, or they're pushing in this CRT and all these other philosophies that they've created, but they've pulled back from spirituality, from real going into someone morality and being able to affect them. And I think it's having a devastating effect on our entire country right now. It is what's behind the racism. It's behind the sexism.
Jack,
it's behind the hate.
I don't have a lot of time. I want to ask you one last quick question. I have 6 daughters, and there's a lot going on about girl power. Girls are supposed to go into STEM, all really good things for girls. But it seems like since we've done that, we've left boys behind. You see boys that aren't going to college as much as girls. You see them not performing as well in schools as girls. We also have this idea that if you're masculine, if you're a boy, that's toxic. Quickly, I got 30 seconds. What does that do to young men in society?
Unfortunately, we have a new society that's raised by women. We have a soft society. We have 18.5 million fatherless kids. And so what is the result of that is you're breaking down masculinity, and the results are going to be things like this are going to happen. You're going to continue to see the move away from the core family values and morality, and the results are sin. And we have a sinful society right now, and we need a revival.
Jack Brewer, you are a great man. Thanks for joining me tonight, and thanks for the insight.
God bless you, Sean.
You too.